Okay, that's Kyle. Let's not leave Kyle. Let's not single out Kyle. He is the head coach, but he's not the whole organization. They still do have a general manager, John Lynch. And sometimes it's hard to know exactly what he's responsible for, but he's the general manager, and essentially he's responsible for the roster and the transactions. So why don't we say what we think he's done well in general this year before we talk about what he hasn't done so well?
Okay. If we're saying he's in charge of the roster, then he got Mac Jones.
Sure.
And that was, I would say, really, really impressive. And we can get into that more later. Also, they drafted very promising players on defense.
Yes, especially in the first couple of rounds. And they did trade for Bryce Huff. That was a good trade.
Yeah. So I would say those are all positive marks for John Lynch. Tell me where he falls short.
Well, in terms of drafting, Mykel Williams and Alfred Collins do have a lot of potential, but right now, neither one is particularly good. After that, in round 3, they took Upton Stout, who's getting picked on. Still, it's early in his career. After him, they took Nick Martin. They won't play him. They took Jordan Watkins. They won't play him much. They took Jordan James. They won't play him. So what was the best draft? What were the 2 or 3 best draft picks they've made in the last 5 years? Brock Purdy, Diamador Lenore. Ricky Pearsall looked good, but he hasn't played in more than a week, more than a month. He's hurt a lot. I think their draft record isn't very good. It's probably below average. And then you look at free agency. I mean, the guys they signed this year, they signed Luke Farrell. Yeah, Mac Jones was good, but they gave money to Luke Farrell, DeMarcus Robinson. Last year it was Devondre Campbell and Leonard Floyd, and before that it was Javon Hargrave. Like, they've had a lot of misses in just player acquisition. And then the contracts. The contracts for Ayuk and Bosa and Kittle and Warner and Purdy and McCaffrey and Trent Williams. I mean, what about those?
They're actually a load on the team, right?
Yeah.
Iggy, I want to ask you, contracts aside for a second and Lynch aside, how did Williams play in the last game? Did he play a good game?
No.
When I looked, Iggy, he was getting pushed around.
He was right next to Mac Jones a lot of the game. Yeah.
He may, he's an older man. Great player, Hall of Fame. You get old. I know about getting old. And your body doesn't always answer the call.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what John Lynch does, I think he's the anti-Trent Baalke. Trent Baalke was a scout, and I think he felt like, look, Jim, don't tell me what you want. I'll get you the best players, and you figure it out. And I think that didn't work all the time because Harbaugh felt like, and Fangio felt like, man, these guys don't fit our scheme at all, and you didn't even ask us. We have no input on this. It's not fair. So I think Lynch tries to be the exact opposite, where he wants to get his coaches bought in. So he's like, Kyle, tell me what you want. Saleh, tell me what you want, which is good to a degree, but Kyle and Saleh aren't personnel people. They're not spending all of their time watching college tape or free agents from around the league. They're coaches. And in a way, it kind of seems like Lynch is asking them to do his job or his homework for him. And maybe if they consistently have bad results, the answer is to get someone in who's more like Baalke, who has more of a background with personnel.
Okay, you would never want Baalke. You mean a Baalke type.
You would never want Baalke, but no, someone who actually came up through the ranks as a personnel person.
Yeah, like the guy who took over in Washington.
Right.
What's his name?
Adam Peters.
Yeah, like him.
Yeah.
And Adam.
Yeah.
So let's not even use the word Baalke because let's say Adam Peters type.
Yeah. I mean, they have guys in their own organization, maybe Tariq Ahmad or Josh Williams. I mean, there are guys who've been there for a long time. Maybe they feel if that guy got elevated and had John Lynch's job, it wouldn't be Lynch asking the coaches to pick the players. It would be someone who was a former scout picking the players. And maybe that would be better. I don't know. It's up to John Lynch, or not. It's up to Jed York. But I feel like the biggest problem with the Niners right now, a lot of guys are hurt, a lot older guys, but what about What about your young guys? I mean, they might be good one day, but doesn't seem like any of them are really above average starters.
Even on the defense, Iggy.
I mean, Michael Williams can't rush the quarterback at all yet. Alfred Collins is a run defender. I don't know, Dad. I think a big reason their defense got shredded in Houston is because those rookies didn't do so well.
Yeah, and Stroud really, he was rarely under duress, was he?
No, no. And it's like we've been talking for weeks. Should the Niners go trade for a edge rusher? Well, they wouldn't have to if the one they drafted with the 11th pick was good at rushing the quarterback.
So they'd be filling a hole they created.
Right. And people say, well, they didn't need an edge rusher. They knew he was a run defender. Well, you never know what you're going to need in football because people get hurt all the time and you always need pass rushers. And who takes a defensive lineman top 11 who can't rush the quarterback? Maybe the Niners will teach him how to do it, but that's what they thought they were going to do with Javon Kinlaw. That never worked out. It's hard to teach someone to do something like that. Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use promo code COHN, COHN, and download the app now.
Right. You want to have a track record that he's done it in college.
Right. Which he didn't have that track record.
Okay. So what we're saying is about Lynch. Lynch does certain things very well. As the face of the organization, he's good. Mm-hmm. He's charming. He's handsome. He's verbal, although he says convicted when he means have conviction. And I stop that. But we're saying that when it comes to the nitty gritty of putting a team together and knowing which players to draft that will work out, he may be still a novice.
Which players to draft, which players to sign, which players to extend, which players to trade, which players to trade for. I mean, he's got a lot to answer for right now. They held on to a lot of these guys too long. They gave out a lot of bad contracts. What are you going to do with the trade deadline right now? Here's another one. So today, they are decimated on the D-line, right? They have this guy named Trevis Gibson, who's been on their practice squad. They keep elevating him to the active roster on game days because they need bodies. He's been playing for them. You can do that 3 times a year. After that, he has to either stay on your practice squad the rest of the year or get elevated permanently to the 53-man roster. We asked Kyle yesterday, what are you going to do with Trevis? He's like, we haven't decided yet. The Panthers claimed him off the Niners practice squad today. So he's gone. Not that he's going to make or break the season, but it's like, you need him. Why is he not on? How did they beat you to the punch on that? It just feels very unprofessional.
I see. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Not a good
that,
look.
Of course, is not a fireable offense. It's just like another thing you add to a long list of strange things the front office has done.